You are watching or listening to Purham and Associates. For more information, go to www.rpurham.com. Hey, good day to you all. Welcome to Purham and Associates. I'm your host, Randy Purham, and I hope you all had a great weekend and all that good stuff and stayed out of trouble. Mostly, you probably didn't, but oh well. No, hey, but we got a very special guest with us today, Tim Rivers, and y'all probably remember him, but if not, I'll refresh your memory. It's no problem. That's what I do. He's a native of Florida, and Tim is a retired IT engineer, Fortune 100 executive, and writer. Following the election of 2020, he joined Defend Florida and discovered many discrepancies in how his state's presidential election had been conducted. He began writing he began writing letters of support to January 6 prisoners who had been arrested for protesting yeah, sorry, that election and documenting their stories and their messages to supporters in America. Together with Marie Goodwin, January 6 mother and activist, they created the J6 Patriot News, keeping America up to date with information about the state, the mistreatment of these patriots, and how fellow patriots could help them. In 2022, he founded the American Gulag Chronicles and began publishing the letters, art, and stories of America's new political prisoners to the public. Together with the J6 activist groups, he created the first 100% transparency council for J6 fundraising organizations. In 2024, Tim joined David Summerall and Tamara Lee in founding the Unredacted Media PBC, a company focused on providing a media base for patriot and conservative voices to be heard in a censored world. Their first three-day event, the 1A Film Festival, was held in Texas in the fall of 2024 and premiered several revealing and shocking documentaries that were the focal topics of the 2024 elections. In 2025, Tim launched the first 24/7 conservative streaming network channel for the Tampa Bay area under the OBBM TV network, featuring patriotic, conservative, faith-based content and programs focused on the Tampa area's unique issues and challenges. His weekly shows series, Freedom Fridays, is in its third year of broadcast. It features interviews and dialogues with political prisoners and liberty activists. Letters from Prison, the first in the Gulag Chronicles series, was released in late 2022, chronicling the life of January 6 prisoners from inside America's new corporate-run gulags. Book 2, The Art of Confinement, was released in December of 2023 and focused on the arts of survival and faith demonstrated through their letters, stories, and art. The final chronicles in the series, The Road to Freedom, is expected to be released in Q2 of 2025, along with reprints of the first two books by Perucci Publishing House. In the last chronicle, the final struggle for patriots and restitution, the hope of liberation, and are presented along with all of the grassroots warriors who labored for 4 years for their freedom. Today, Furious Tim continues to provide a voice to the silenced through numerous social media platforms, the American Gulag Chronicles, and speaks out for equal justice and liberty in America. Along with Unredacted Media, that he will execute the first comprehensive J6 database for the public in 2025. He urges everyone he knows don't do nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the assignment, presenting to others, Mr. Tim Rivers. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome back, actually.
I gotta shorten up that bio.
No, it's all good. It's hey, you know what? You gotta, you, I have that same trouble, but you try to capture everything, to just to let people know who you are and what you're about. And, it
And
sometimes it's, sometimes it's long.
just to remind myself, it's been crazy for. I think I have extra sound.
Yeah,
It's been a crazy 4 years. It's like, one of those roller coaster rides where you're perpetually at the top of the hill
mm-hmm.
with your hands up, scared to death.
Yep.
It's really been an amazing 4 years. And I look back when you listen to that bio, it's just a small part of what so many Americans have done since January 6th, or actually since November of the previous year, of 2020. We have revealed so much, exposed so much, educated the American public, those who would listen,
Mm-hmm.
on what really happened. And now we have this major problem that my background as an IT executive and a software engineer was really often people would lose information forever,
Mm-hmm.
stuff that was so vital to themselves, their businesses, even to history, that it was a tragic loss. And that happens very easily in the cyber world, especially when there are people who would like that information to disappear or to be rewritten in another form. And so our project right now that we're undertaking, now that the third book is on its way to the printer, and it's done, The Road to Freedom is not only the year of letters, art, and stories from these individuals. You're going to see some changes. The first two books are often dark and speculative about what the future holds for them.
Mm.
But in 2023 and the beginnings of 24, you start to see that hope coming out, that possibility of redemption, the possibility of justice actually being done for them. And it changes so quickly as you get through the end of October, November, rushing into January. The last letter is January 20th. Somebody is sitting at their cell waiting to walk out those doors. That last book not only gives you that story,
Mm-hmm.
but it tells you exactly how to defeat tyranny again by showcasing ordinary people like me who saw a mess, decided something needed to be done, and just did it. People who didn't do nothing. They ended it up with that "don't do nothing." I stole that from a January 6th prisoner, Mr. Jeremy Brown, who is a retired Green Beret Special Forces veteran, an amazing person, and was held for was held for over 3 years until pardoned by President Trump. So these are the kind of things that America needs to remember. They need to read about. The first two books, Letter from Prison, that was in the Gulag. It's really horrific. I mean, it's shocking beyond pale that people are treated that way inside an American jail or inside an American institution. In The Art of Confinement, this is their second and third year. They've understood that they're now pawns in this gigantic political game. And you see them, stories of faith, perseverance, fealty. I mean, literally, fealty to the country that's persecuting them. This is a story of patriotism that must be told and remembered. And in the third book, as I just described, you see the conclusion of this story. But more than that, I give you the blueprint to defeat tyranny on American soil if it ever raises its ugly head again. And this is something that the future needs to have in their hands. We urge everybody, not only are the books important for history and a valuable add to your coffee table, let me tell you, you want to talk about a conversation starter. But these are also, all the money from these books goes to our 501c3, where that money is redistributed to January Sixers who are desperately trying to rebuild their lives without homes, without cars, without jobs, slandered, bad backgrounds, felony profiles that are not being erased, even though they should have been taken out of the systems. This is the struggle that continues, even though these people are freed. And that story comes out very clearly in the last book.
That's awesome, Tim, and thank you for the work that you're doing. It's like I don't even know another word to say for important, but it's up
It's
above.
vital.
Yeah, it's very vital. Absolutely, work that you're doing. And a friend of mine, actually one of the J6ers, Stuart Rhodes. He lives right down the street
Huh.
here from me. We talked, and he was on the show here about a month ago now, And and it's the same at different events locally here. We talk about all the stuff that he went through, and he's still rebuilding his life and everything else. Had Lucas Denny on, and we talked about these same things. And it's just no wonder that the American people in general just stood back and just watched, and it was like, oh, they were insurrectionists, they were terrorists. They deserve what they get. But then you start peeling back that onion, and you start looking at what actually happened. And you got the J6 Select Committee that tampered the evidence. They destroyed evidence. They got rid of stuff. So it's like, okay, if they're doing that, if these guys are so guilty, why is the J6 Select Committee getting rid of evidence and destroying evidence if these guys are actually guilty of something? And so no one can ever answer that question. And so
we'll answer it for you. I'm going to tell you, we're going to answer it.
Yes.
Because we are tired of waiting for Congress to get off their butts and do a real J6 investigative committee. So the leadership of all these organizations, some of which are highlighted in Book 3, people like Condemned USA, StopHate.com, J6 Patriot News, American Gulag Chronicles, and a number of other organizations that you would recognize, Stand in the Gap, the Real J6. Those leaders are coming together to create a J6 panel of inquiry. It's actually called the National January 6th Historical Panel of Inquiry. It is basically a people's tribunal. We have no authoritative power to punish anybody, but we do have the ability, as we the people, to present evidence in first person from the people who were there that day, which is what should have been done in January 6th, not Hollywood produced lies, edited videos, added audio, a complete Hollywood fake version of what really happened, and nothing near the truth. So we're going to bring you the truth. And the easiest way to do that is to bring you the people who were there, the people who suffered for us as surrogates of liberty for some of them over 4 years. We are going to let them speak as they should have been allowed to speak in Congress. Then we will make that available to the public. And that is also part of this mission of historical preservation. I just asked some folks the other day, there's literally thousands of people in our January 6th community that are active advocates and activists. And I asked them, how many of you guys have January 6th evidence? Oh man, the reply buried my Facebook, right? And I says, how many of you have taken the need to preserve it in a way that is indemnable? In other words, it can never be destroyed. Yeah. I got very few replies. Mm-hmm. And so that's our project. Our project is to preserve this, whether it's the books, whether it's video of first-person testimony of individuals. By the way, anybody who does Rumble, visit my Rumble page at WTR55. Listen to the interviews for yourself. I got 180-something interviews out there with J6ers. Let them tell you what happened. You don't need to go to false media. You don't need to listen to third-person pundits telling lies and shaping the narrative. Just listen to the people who were there. That's the easiest thing to do. That's what we do in a courtroom. And that's what we'll do in the hearings. We'll ask these people to swear on their own holy book that they're going to tell the truth, and we're going to take their testimony, and then we're going to make that available to the public in a mini-series through Unredacted Media and American Gulag Chronicles. Unredacted Media has a very hard mission. We are fighting censorship, not only about this, but about things like election integrity, Tina Peters, violations of Russia. It's all being hidden. It's all being destroyed. The shredders are running 24/7. And so we need to preserve it. You see this flag behind me? See the signatures? If you can see some of the signatures that were scrawled on it outside of the prison, outside of Coleman Prison at 1 a.m. in the morning on January 21st, when we liberated 11 J6 prisoners, those signatures mean something. Yeah. They're not just ink on a flag. They're examples of patriotism that goes beyond exemplary behavior, that goes beyond individual sacrifice. Oh, certainly, some of them were unwilling, but the sacrifices were there nonetheless. Those sacrifices were made for you and I. We need to pay them forward, or at the very least, recognize and preserve them. So that's the national project. Please visit givesendgo.com/J6 archive project. Help us build the project. We need money for a gigantic cloud storage base that is safe and secure and external to the United States boundaries. We really could use the public's help in raising that money to begin putting the archives out there. When we're done, we're going to do some amazing things with artificial intelligence to let you put these together in a way that is very similar to J6 The Real Timeline movie, that we produced at stophate.com. And you will begin to see things as they happen. Maybe even if we're good enough at our jobs, maybe even walk into January 6th and look around like you're there. There's so much evidence, so much video, so much digital documentation, so many court records, so many personal testimonies that when you put all these things in a central place and allow an academic or a public researching community to begin to pull the pieces together, you're going to be amazed at what you see, because we have seen it all, and it doesn't look anything like what the public has seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I want to touch on the J6 Archive project. You know, I just dropped the Give Send Go link down here at the bottom for those that are watching. But for those that are listening, I'm gonna reiterate it again. Once again for Tim, it's www.givesendgo.com/J6 Archive project. Tim, last year, Speaker Johnson, Mike Johnson, U.S. House type, he released a whole bunch of data, a whole bunch of videos and stuff like that. That was only, that was barely scratching the surface. It was like literally just a quarter of what was actually recorded and everything else. Have you and your team been able to capture that information and store it for yourselves versus saying, okay, well, that's already out there, so we'll just let it be? Did y'all capture that and say, okay, thanks, but we're still collecting more data? How is that working out?
Okay, so yeah, release the videos doesn't mean we give the public free access.
Exactly.
Yeah, release the videos means you can take a number, sit in an appointment, but you'll have restricted access. We'll give you 30 minutes to look at 14,000 hours of video and get what you want out of it and then get out of here. Mm-hmm. No, we have more video than they do. We have the discovery evidence that has been released to all 1,500 J6ers who were indicted. 1,559 J6ers were indicted. They've all got their discovery. It belongs to them. They've been pardoned. We've got individual, just go to What Parler saw and look at all the video that was taken by cell phones that day. When you put all of that together so that it can be analogously linked by AI, you're going to see some amazing things, because none of that can be erased if we preserve it, if we allow it to be researched, if we allow it to be integrated with other videos and other integrity types of documented evidence. It is literally, absolutely vetted. We can never accept anything that is not 100% original. If it's ever been touched, it'll never reach this database. Yeah. Okay. That's the whole point of this, is integrity of preservation of evidence. Think of this like a forensic project, because it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a national forensics project. Yeah. And we really need the public to get involved. I'm going to tell you, all you folks who have sat out there on the fence, I hold no ill will to you. I understand the fear and the amount of pressure that went against people politically and in their social environments. But that is not the case anymore. You have a chance to stand up and be the patriot you wanted to be and be part of this project, because this is very important. Our children's children will be studying this and trying to understand what happened and learning the lessons of tyranny coming into our republic. And so it's important to preserve this. It really is. I urge everybody to join the J6 Archive Army. And I don't care what you get. Give me $1, give me 50 cents, whatever you can give. Don't forget to tinkle a little bit to Give Send Go, who's so kind and such an amazing Christian base. They have never turned anybody away, although other fundraisers have shut our J6ers and our organizations down. So please be kind to them as well. This is an amazing project. It's a chance for America to preserve its own history, and for each individual to have a part of that. You'll have this publicly accessible. And I think that's important, so that that we don't forget what happened. We don't forget the price we paid. We don't forget how close we came.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have, so in the American Gulag Chronicles, you got three book series. The third final installment is coming out later on this year. And the road.
Yeah, it's headed to the printer right now. So okay. The first draft copies will be available beginning of middle of August by the time the printer gets the run done. It's called The Road to Freedom. And it's aptly named, because that's exactly what we show you in here, is how we liberated these people and what was happening to them in the prisons as we were trying to break the doors open for them. So it's an amazing book. It's another piece of history. It should not be forgotten. Please go to lettersfromprison.us. That's an easy remember. Letters from Prison, the title of the first book, .us. You can order the first two books. I give you a great bundle deal to get both books now from the first two. free printing or free shipping rather if you use promo code Tamara, Tamara. And the third book can be pre-ordered, and you'll get the first printing copies. We're going to do a limited first print, and so those books will be unique and numbered. So if you get your pre-orders in there, you're going to get a little bit special something when you get that book. The trilogy itself is a piece of history. It needs to be preserved, and you need to read it to yourself and to your children.
Yes, letters from prison.us, correct? Promo code.
Yes.
Promo code Tamara. And
Tamara.
And the Roads of Freedom, going back to let's I want to rewind back just a few minutes to November 5th of 24, excuse me. And the night that, President Trump sworn in. That almost, it was like the next day type of thing, he brought up the conversation. I'm going to release the J6 prisoners. Everybody just went berserk. I was watching I was turning. I left Fox News. I said, you know what? I'm not going to watch Fox because they're gonna naturally cover it. I want to see what CNN, ABC, NBC. I want to see what the Democrat networks are saying about this. And to my surprise, they were. I guess you could say they were kind of like not trying to cover it, but they knew they had to cover it, so they were just very nice about it. Because I think they knew in the back of their heads, like, okay, this is going to happen, and we better be nice about this because the American people is going to come after us if we're not. So the exposure of just that alone, and then subsequently, a few days later, all 1,500 J6s were pardoned. And
that didn't happen that easily, though.
It did.
I'm just going to tell you, Randy, that was not an easy task.
Yeah.
We had people working on this for over a year and a half, writing we literally wrote the pardon project. You can find it at How to Pardon a J6. Go out and look at the book To Pardon J6ers, written by Suzanne Monk. All of the organizations who worked on this helped. Condemned USA did the research on pardons, what was necessary, created a gigantic database of J6ers by charges and everything, and gave all of that to the Trump team. That's how they were able to do it. The J6 choir project, that was huge, right? Mm-hmm. The gentleman who recorded that original recording, Mr. Bart Shively, one of the men my wife and I supported for many years, passed away from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma just about 2 weeks ago because he was denied medical care for 3.5 years in the DC Gulag when he went in with Hodgkin's lymphoma. These are stories that are kind of hard to throw away, but at the same time, they highlight why it's necessary to keep doing this kind of work, why the third book needed to be written, why does the archive project need to be done, why do we need to hold panels of inquiry? Because I still think most Americans don't know the truth.
They don't. Despite
our efforts, they don't know the truth. And maybe it's because we are in a political bubble of bias right now as we're conflicted 50-50 on each side of America that we'll never be able to understand it until the fog clears in the future. And when it does, wouldn't you like to be able to see what was there before?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're absolutely right about political fog, and I would relegate it more to silos, because there are some people that I live here in Austin, Texas, and this is the liberal capital of the world, and there are just people that just refuse to see the truth on anything. Once they get that information from their silo, they're not letting that go. No matter what kind of truth you bring to them, no matter it could be said, oh, you know what, this has been debunked. Unless they hear it from their silo that was wrong information, they will stick to that information. So you still got people running around here saying, well, they were insurrectionists and they broke into the Capitol, and it's like, you did see the footage, right? You did see the guards open the gates and letting them in, right? You did see that part. No, that didn't happen.
Well, and I think that's
wow. It's crazy.
I think that's why the archive is important, because now they can look for themselves. I don't have to listen to me or listen to mainstream media. Look at the real footage. And let one of the things that was really that really struck me, the way David Sumrall assembled J6 The Real Timeline. Him and a bunch of folks, Andrew Molnick, they worked really hard on that movie. And what they did is they showed you things simultaneously happening. They showed you the ellipse at the same time they showed you the West Terrace of the Capitol. They showed you people walking down the street at the same time they show you violence already happening in the tunnels. They really kind of put it together so you understand the entirety of it. It's so easy to confabulate these things with just a few pieces of misdirection, a little bit of altered video, a willing pundit to tell the lie and to add laurels to the lie so you really believe it. It was very, very difficult for us to understand how much misdirection. And when you see the real information, I'm hoping that you could undo that. The way you undo cognitive dissonance is to present an overwhelming view so that two views cannot compete. Exactly. The overwhelming view is the one of reality, not the one of misdirection, not the one of false narrative, not the one of altered evidence, but the real reality. And that's what we hope to show you. And we hope that you'll help us preserve that so others in the future generations can judge it fairly. So the books, the movie, the 1A Film Festival, if you haven't seen those documentaries that we made, oh my gosh, that was a 3-day film festival, unredacted, held in Texas. I'm still in shock from some of the things I saw. It goes from human trafficking to the stolen election to January 6th to misdirection to the deep state to media manipulation. These documentaries were just, they're going to melt your brain. And you can get them all at 1afilmfest.com for an entire year. We tell you this, buy one ticket, invite everybody you know, and start having parties at the house. Show that movie to everyone. I don't care. I don't need you to buy a ticket for everyone, but I need those movies to be seen by everyone, because here we're trying to undo this false reality and give people the alternative view to break the cognitive dissonance of misinformation.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely right about that. You know, you mentioned Susan Monk a few minutes ago, and Susan and I, we go way back, like 4 Flats on a Cadillac with an 8-track. She was we were co-hosts on the same network here on TECN.TV at the time, and when everything started going down with J6 with the J6ers. She announced to us, she said, hey, I'm taking a break from the network. I'm going to go work this project. I'm going to go work and help these guys get out, because she was in D.C. And I was like, okay, cool. And, she was corresponding back and forth for a while. And just, I want to say 2 weeks ago, she just got back on Facebook. She made an announcement, hey, I'm back on Facebook now. Everything's good with the J6ers. And it was like, oh, yeah, hey, welcome back, type of thing. So she was definitely a warrior and a fighter in the cause. And, we truly appreciate her.
She was a general, actually. She's one of the generals.
Exactly. Yeah, she was. Yes, definitely a general. And so, she sacrificed a lot, also. And so we truly appreciate her work and her efforts, your work and your efforts and everything else, because a lot of people don't know the sacrifice and the time commitment and even the vitriolic hate that you receive for just doing the right thing, and so I commend all of you for what you're doing out there, Tim.
And those stories,
yes,
we put those stories in book 3. That's what we did. We wanted you to know how it happened. We wanted you to meet Suzanne Monk and understand her commitment came simply from a desire of patriotism. We wanted you to meet Trennis Evans. We wanted you to meet David. We wanted you to meet me and Marie, so that you understand we are nobody. We're just ordinary Americans who stepped out of our dolly role to do the work that needed to be done. Remember, we the people, not them, the Congress, or them, the Senate. We the people. If they don't do their work, we cannot let it be done. We, the people, have to do it if they will not. And that's what these people did. Their stories are told in the road to freedom, because that's what you'll need to defeat tyranny if it ever comes back.
Yes, absolutely. And I hope and pray. The Democrats are they're scheming right now. They're plotting and scheming right now to take back over. And you hear them say this. They say, when we take over, we're going to take over. We want to take over. You're hearing that language being utilized. And I am fearful, personally, that when they do come back into power subsequently or eventually, that it's going to be 4 times worse than what it was when they had the reins the first time around. And so we as the American people, we have to be, prepared for that and say, you know what? I'm not going to allow myself to sit on the sidelines this time around. I know what they're capable of now. How am I going to be prepared for and be ready for what they're going to bring next time around? And that's the message that we need to be getting out there is what are you going to do the next time? And so
if you don't do something, it's going to be your signature on that flag behind me
exactly,
next time.
exactly. And you're absolutely right about that. And that's what we need to prevent.
So, everybody's got a role to play, Randy. I think you do a great job in educating America. It's very essential that people listen to programs like yours and some of the other podcasts that we do, because you're never going to hear this crap. And CNN's not going to invite me on. Hell, Newsmax won't invite me on. This is too controversial even for them. There's a lot of complicity, even in our good networks, in the way that things are managed and decided upon, what the public gets to see. Unredacted media's role is to undo that, to make it all available. So you can visit us at unredacted.media, really easy, unredacted.media. We have a whole gallery of speakers who will come to speak to you about January 6th, about the deep state, about what you can do to be activated, to join not just the problems about January 6th, but the problems of America. How to become active in this community. Please join us. Our goal is to rip the black off of everything and let you see the truth, because that's what you deserve. How can you make good decisions if you don't truly have reality in truth? And so that's our role. I'm glad the last book is done, because there's other projects ahead that need to be tackled. Pretty an old guy. I really need you youngers that grab the baton, come up behind me and let me pass it over. There's a lot of work still to be done. Like you said, the left did not go away. They are sitting and thinking. Just listen to Hakeem. Just listen to the madness in New York if you don't think there's still wolf at the door of liberty. Exactly. And so it's time for everybody to completely wake up now. If you are on the fence, slide on over, because it's time to get to work.
Absolutely. Tim, how can people follow you and support you, sir?
You can find me usually at Furious Tim, just about anywhere you search for Furious Tim. I am definitely out there on the web. We have a Telegram channel, 2 Telegram channels, J6 Patriot News and American Gulag Chronicles. Our website is j6patriotnews.com. You're going to find a wealth of information, exposés on the naughty judges in D.C., backgrounds on individuals, interviews. There's just so much out there. You could spend a year browsing, because it's taken us 3.5 years to accumulate. So again, all of this stuff needs to be thank you very much. Please go to the J6 Archive Project at Give, Send, Go. Help us get this going. Help us preserve history. Become part of the archive army.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tim, thank you so much for being here. And once again, for the work that you're doing, you and the team. One more question real quick. The archive project, this is intended to go into the National Archives, the U.S. National Archives, correct?
No, we're going to create it. Again, I'm got to the point where I don't trust the National Archives because they're at the will of the political breeze. Yeah. This needs to be an independent We the People project, self-funded in the long run by academia, licensing to the information and curriculums that can be created from it. I think it's a long-term project for the future. There's lots of organizations like Heritage Foundation and the National Endowment who could certainly pitch in and help us if they were willing. But in the end, it's got to be we the people who do this. It has got to be an effort of Americans, not the government.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you for that clarification, because I know some people are probably saying, well, okay, they're going to put that in the National Archives, and people could go to D.C. and walk the museums and see all this stuff. No, this is going to be something separate and away from D.C.
Yeah, and it'll be online. I mean, it'll be accessible to anybody. You won't have to travel anywhere to see it. It'll be all put together for you, so you can visit it online and research it.
Very good, very good. All right, sir. Thank you again. Be safe out there. God bless you once again, and thank you so much for what you're doing. And please reach out. Come back again soon to let us know the updates on the project and where y'all are at.
Absolutely. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate your time, brother.
No problem. Thank you.
Don't do nothing, America.
Absolutely. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Rivers. Hey, once again, I'm gonna drop the link right here at the bottom. Check that out. I don't know why it keeps running when I put it up there, but that's okay. Yeah, I'll let it cycle back through. www.givesendgo.com. J6 Archive Project. Like he said, 50 cents, $50,000, whatever you got laying around in your pocket, go ahead and drop it in there. for them, and support this project. Once again, if you sat on the sidelines, over the last 5 years, technically, over the last 5 years now, if you just sat on the sidelines and said, I don't have a dog in this fight, I can't do anything, I'm afraid to do something, now is the time for you to be able to do something. Don't do nothing. So there you go. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna jump up out of here and get the rest of the day going because I got a lot of stuff to do. But I appreciate you all tuning in today, and be safe out there. And once again, you gotta get involved. You gotta pay attention and keep your head on the swivel and realize that there's a lot of crazies out there, and they're wanting to take us down. There's no other way to put that. So. All right, folks, I will holler at y'all later. Be safe. God bless you all, and ciao, ciao. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in today. Please be sure to follow, like, subscribe, and share, and go to rpurham.com for more information. See you all soon. Take care. God bless.